I don't want to be.
Heavy lies the crown.
Yeah, I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to be the guy in charge. I don't want to tell. I don't want to tell anybody what to do. I don't want any of that type of stuff. So here's the thing. We're going to go around the room and we're going to talk. And a lot of times I'll say, hey, tell me your main goal or whatever. But like, really, I want to, like, all right, so let's just picture you guys were running the group and I was in treatment and you asked me, Mike, what do you want out of recovery or treatment? What do you want to get out of it? What's your goal? This and that. I promise you, because I said it out loud, I'm not just saying this. I said, I want to get high. I want to stop getting high and fucking shit up. That's all I wanted. Do you understand what I'm saying? All I wanted. That's all I wanted to do, because that seemed like if I could do that, that just seemed like an impossible. Do you understand what I'm saying? That seemed ridiculous. Like what we were talking about yesterday, Colin, like, I mean, I would have never said be happy being sober. I sat down with a counselor last time I was in treatment and he's like, well, what do you think would make you happy? You think being sober would make you happy? And I laughed. Well, I laughed. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even here for happiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just a pipe dream. I said, I just want to be able to breathe.
But if you want to avoid that first craving, happiness is the key.
Well, I mean, but listen, like I said, like, it was a pipe dream to me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The way I feel today, or the last 4 years, the way I feel today, or the last 4 years, you could never have put it into words for me to understand. How could I? I'm 39 years old. I have nothing to compare that to. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I said, like when you heard what I said yesterday and you guys laughed, I've been a drug addict since I was 5 years old. I didn't even know what drugs were. You know what I mean? Like, I was always chasing something, looking for something, always in a, it just, I had no idea what being okay with me being in my skin, me just feeling comfortable, me just being able to sit still. And I'm still not great at that now. I like to keep it moving. I like to do things. I work 2 jobs. I go to the gym. I go to meetings. I have a girlfriend. I visit my family. You know what I mean? Like, I keep it moving. But not because I don't like being in my own head, because I'm trying to make the most of my life. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what it is. Like, I don't wake up going, oh, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I wake up tired and I'm like, man, I had this thought, should I call in sick today? You know what I mean? Never really for here, but, my other job, I'm like, should I call in sick and just lay around or just relax? I need the rest. And then I'm like, no, get up and go. But for the most part, I'm like, man, I get to get up and, my other job, that's what I pay my bills with. My child support and my insurance and and this and that. And then I get to come here. Like, when I tell you, like, one of the brightest spots in my life is coming here and seeing gentlemen and women, gentlemen right now, you're sitting here and you're paying attention and you're looking because you want a better way. I mean, I promise you, this stuff is all optional. It's all optional. Like, going back to, like, right now, every single person is in a point to rewrite their narrative, to go and, like, really, really change. I mean, you ever hear them say, like, people don't change? That's not true. People don't change if they don't want to change. How bad do you want to change? Me and Z were just talking about it before, because this is what I say all the time. You can't just have to get sober. You can't just need to get sober. If you don't want to be sober more than you want to drink, you're going to drink. I made the joke to Z before, and I'll make it because she's not here. If Destiny wanted to be sober, like she wanted to track a package,
no shit.
She'd be the soberest motherfucker here. You know what I'm saying?
Doing a testimony.
I'd be out of a job. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. But it's like, like when I was. Well, it's not even that. I'm not going to be talking about it. But what it was like when I was sitting in your seat, it was like I really didn't want to be sober. I wanted to stop getting high and fucking shit up, but I didn't want to get sober because to me, sober meant miserable. You know what I mean? Sober meant no fun. Sober meant like, the longer I'm sober, the more miserable I get. Can anybody like relate to that? You know what I mean? The further away I get from a drink or a drug, the more restless, irritable, discontent, anxious, angry, nervous, uncomfortable I get. Like I said,
you're not sober-minded yet.
Well, exactly. Like when they talk about in the big book that you need to have the psychic change is necessary to have sobriety, long-term sobriety. It is. I would never have 4.5 years if I didn't have that psychic change they talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have never been able to hold on for 4.5 years like I did the first 6 months. Because the first 6 months, I was holding on with everything in my, you know what I mean? Like, I would have never made it those 6 months if I was in New York and everything was just right at arm's length. You know what I mean? It was only the fact that I was in Texas. It was only the fact that I was only supposed to be in Texas 6 or 7 months, however long it took to recover from the surgery, and then go back to New York and do whatever. So I was like, all right, while I'm in Texas, I'll do everything they say. And the fact that it was like, I'm in Texas, like every tree and every road and every person was a constant reminder to me that I didn't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? It really was. So it was like, you know, just maybe like, and I didn't know anybody to get drugs from. I always could have went and bought alcohol, but you know what I mean? I was like, you know, you're here because you fucked everything up. So while you're here, you might, and like I said, like I really did, like when I was in that treatment center in Boston, and you know, I met a couple of guys there that were like me, and they told me about the book and read the book, and I read it. They made, you know, the one guy's like, Mike, just read the book. If the book don't make sense, he literally said, if the book don't make sense to you, throw it out the window. I said, okay, and I wasn't never going to throw it out the window, but I was like, listen, I'm willing to try something. You know what I mean? You want me to read a book? I've read plenty of books. I'm like, okay. And the first time I read that book, man, I'm not saying I understood a lot of it, but I understood enough where I was like, I remember saying to him, this book knows my like addiction or alcoholism better than I know myself. I mean, there was just stuff in there that was like, it would hit me like a lightning bolt, like, holy shit, that's me. All right, so listen, this is what I'm asking you. And I want you to be truthful. Please don't ever give me the answer you think I want to hear. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want to get out of sobriety or treatment or, you know what I mean? What are you hoping for happens when you go home?
Me?
Yes, you, Chris, you're first. Chris.
We're gonna stay sober and stay with the meeting. And really, yeah, just be happy.
Okay.
Well, content.
Yeah, I know. Because content for people like us is like, let's throw a fucking party. You know what I mean?
Every time I hit a goal, I had another thing. No.
I understand. Brent, go ahead, buddy.
The thing that I knew coming in here that I could never drink again. And what I really wanted out of this Great Oaks, this experience, which I've gone into head first.
I completely agree.
What I really wanted was strength and knowledge on how to stay away from the first drink.
So let me ask you something. When I do a group, when I give a class, or when that young lady spoke yesterday, do you get a little bit of strength from that?
I did.
Well, they call it experience, strength, and hope for a reason. Like, and that's the one thing I'm not bashing Texas. One thing I like about New York better is most meetings you go to, they're not topic meetings or discussion meetings. They're speaker meetings where the speaker speaks for 20 or 30 minutes, and then you share. And when you hear somebody's story, man, woman, black, white, they might be more money than you, less money than you, but if you're paying attention, you can get experience, strength, and hope from them. Because if they're saying, it used to be like this, I did that, and now I'm doing like this, you start saying, well, if he did it, I can do it. Or if she did it, I can do it. So you get strength from it. So, because we were talking yesterday, we were talking outside. Remember how we were talking about, like, as men, like, and women too, but as men, we're told to just man up, stuff it, you know, and it's actually harder to go and deal with our problems. You know what I mean? It's like, if you don't stay going to meetings and you don't stay plugged into that, you'll actually forget that and we'll slip back into stuff it down, man up. No, you know what I mean? Like, because it's such learned behavior. Like, that's what's so good about going to meetings, even if you're going to do that refuge recovery, right? But to go to an AA meeting, even if there's certain things you don't agree with, you have to be able to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And just going to it, just going to do it, to do what you're supposed to do.
Reminds you what you're trying to do.
And here's the thing.
Because otherwise you're trying to fight, what, for me, 36 years of fucking programming.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. We have been doing what we feel like and what we want for too long. We need the structure. We need to, like, listen, there's a certain amount of humility that comes when you just go and sit someplace every single day. Do you understand? And it builds a habit. I mean, there's so much more good to get out of it. You know, you go and you do what you're supposed to do so you get to where you want to be or where you need to be, instead of doing what you want to or what you feel like and coming right back here if you're lucky. It really is like you have to do this stuff. Listen, it's a lifelong thing, man. It is a lifelong thing. I mean, how long were we out there how long were we out there unhealthy and drinking and slowly killing ourselves? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why it breaks my heart when I see people come in the first week or two, they're like, yeah, I'm going to meeting, they're all excited about it, and all of a sudden this is bullshit and this and that. They're gonna sit and watch TV and do this, and it's like, you're not looking at things the right way. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand it's part of the disease, it's part of the sickness, but it's like, you may, and this is the truth, every single person that's sitting in this room, this might very well be your last chance. Right? I promise you there's no guarantee. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I promise you there's been people that were sitting in this room. This young lady that used to sit right over there. She left here and 12 hours later overdosed and died. You know what I mean? 22, 23 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is how this goes. So
The doctor told me today I was killing myself. He said, you were killing yourself.
yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
I should be dead, and I'm pretty sure Texas isn't gonna let me get away with 5 DWIs.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, listen, if we all look at it, every single person in here playing with house money. You know what I mean? Every single one of us, things could be infinitely worse. I mean, locked up, facing 10, 20, 30 years, going, why didn't, you know what I mean? Listen, could you imagine the remorse or whatever, like the shoulda, coulda, wouldas that come with that? Sitting in the jail cell, like, you know, no good to anybody, just sitting there going, why didn't I get it sooner? Why didn't I, you know what I mean? Like, we are not. So, Jake, tell me what's your main goal? What are you trying to do? What do you want out of recovery? What's something that, you know, a goal, like something that you really want out of this?
Out of this, tend to hold on to things and let them beat me back down. I gotta let some things go. I gotta learn to trust people and myself, because I've done some stupid shit. You know?
Don't trust yourself.
But what I'm saying, I mean, like after.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. So trust that I can go to the meeting by myself
Yeah.
and drive there and not to pull into the liquor store. That's
You know what my advice would be for that?
Mhm.
And I know it might not sound like, pray every single day.
Right.
God, please keep me sober. God, because that's what I did. God, please keep me sober. Please reveal yourself to me. Help me get through the day. That's what I did. I never did that before. You know what I mean? But I was willing to do anything. So, what else?
well, I was just gonna say, you know, my pride gets me in trouble a lot too. You know, the way I was raised up, you know, it gets me in trouble.
Well, did you hear what I said last group? Is that pride or is it false sense of pride? That false sense of pride, that ego, that comes from the false sense of pride. Because someone that really has good self-esteem and healthy pride can look at something and go, not worth it.
Yeah.
I got kids. I got a wife. You know what I mean? And listen, I tell you, at 4.5 years sober, I can still be that. So I'm not talking, I'm just trying to give you a different way to look at it so that when you think it's your pride, you say, this ain't pride, this is false sense of pride. I told you, when I start getting really angry, I start saying to myself, don't you know who I think I am? Because really, all of a sudden it's, how dare you, my rights, I can't believe, you know, and it's, don't you know who I think I am? And then it kind of makes me look at myself a little differently. You know what I mean? Because who the fuck am I? I'm just a regular person. You know what I mean?
You know what, Jake? If that feeling of pride is comfort to you, feel proud of the sobriety that you
Yeah.
are able to gain. Feel proud of that.
Yeah, so this made me proud the other day.
Let me see it.
I mean, like.
Well, read
when
it.
we did
I want you to read it because I don't have glasses.
When we did these, and I've been looking at this and I'm like, that's what I really want.
Okay.
For like, you know, what I want, when I'm dead and gone, and my sons, you know, and my family look back and say, you know, and I made a poem out of it, but it's through trial and tribulation, Jake overcame his plight. He put his family before himself and became our shining light. A suggested plan of action was given to Jake for free, and the Great Spirit overtook him, and we no longer have to grieve. That, you know.
That's good shit.
I want
That's
to-
amazing. And here's the whole thing. If you knew how close you were, you'd be throwing yourself a party. All you need to do when you get out of here is follow the plan that you set for yourself. It won't happen overnight, but like, and here's the whole thing. Like, you're going down the tunnel, right? And you're in that dark tunnel and you're looking for a light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's not how it works. You don't ever see the light at the end of the tunnel. All of a sudden you just realize it's light. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's really how it happens. And I say this all the time. America loves the underdog story. People love it because there is no shame in falling down. There's no, you know, the only shame comes when you continue to fall down and you don't try to get back up. And a lot of times when I do this and everybody shares and I kind of wait for everybody to do this and I'm like, because really what you just said right there, that's the main goal. That's what you want. You want everybody to, because anybody in here have really good grandparents, right? And why were they so good? Because they were like so loving and selfless, right? Like, don't you want people to like look at you like that? I don't want people to go, man, you know,
His stuff was great.
or even like, you know, man, he was good but. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or he had so much potential but. Like,
Very good
no,
man.
I want someone to be like, because I remember looking at my father and my ex-brother-in-law's father and being like, these men, like my dad, right? My dad never cared about wearing nice clothes or never, you know what I mean? Like, all he cared about was his family. Or my brother-in-law's father, like the way he would go out of his way for, I mean, this guy, he's a chef and he would sit there and like fry chicken and cook food and like for hours and be stuck taking his wife to the mall and she's the biggest pain in the ass because she's got to return everything and this and that. Like, he'd be there for hours and it was just like, he was just of service to her. And it was like, you know what I mean? Like, if there was, like, they knew 100% of the time that they were going to show up. Right? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm out there and I was using it and I was running the streets, and even as a young person when drugs didn't take over my life, but I was very selfish and self-centered, I was showing up like 93% of the time. And I was proud of that 93. Well, listen, here's the thing. When you're showing up under the influence, you're kind of just physically,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, because that's what I'm saying. Like,
Put it
I
that
want,
way,
well, yeah. Well, I want,
I'm human.
well, I want to be, because here's the thing, when you're 100% reliable, like, unless you're 100% reliable, dependable, you're unreliable. You know what I'm saying? Like, barring an earthquake or a tornado. You know what I mean? Like, so I thought 90% was like, I was hanging my hat on 90%. Well, 90%'s not bad. You know what I mean? Like, I do the right thing 90% of, no, that's actually, and the number is probably a lot lower, but I'm making it better for myself. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. Like, I wanted, listen, when I said all I wanted to stop getting high and fucking shit up, that's what I wanted. And now, the type of relationships, I won't even talk about my kids and my family, right? The type of relationships I have with you guys and conversations and the way I can help you and the way you help me, the way I can help friends in New York and other people, and the way I can set an example. Nobody ever told me that was possible, and I probably wouldn't have believed you. And if you told me, Michael, you could have a wonderful relationship with your teenage daughter, I would have said, I have one. You know what I mean? Because I kind of did. You know what I mean? Like, we were always really close and this and that. But the type of relationship I have now, that was just, I didn't know how to communicate like that. I didn't know how to completely look at something from somebody else's point of view. I didn't know anything about coping skills or showing somebody love. You know what I mean? You know the way I showed love? I would show up physically, I would pay bills, and I would do anything you asked for me. You know what I mean? But did I know how to support you emotionally or mentally? How the fuck could I help you do that when I had no idea how to do it for myself? Right? Kyle, what would you like?
I've been really jotting a lot of stuff down, and actually this is already something that we worked on, but with Patrick, it's sobriety, spirituality, health, and with that comes peace, clarity, reliability, self-esteem, and following that would be the sides at the VA, and then getting a home group and a sponsor.
Okay.
But I just,
Hey, and listen, that's a wonderful list. That's a wonderful list. But you know what I'm going to tell you? You shortchange yourself a little. You know what I mean? Because you have no idea what it's going to be like when you get that in the first year and a half, and then you start helping people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you start helping vets, and you start helping other people, and you know, you become this like complete bright spot to your family. And instead of them like worrying, like what you said, instead of them worrying, man, they go to, you know what I mean? Like, listen, I went from the one they worried about to all of a sudden I'm the voice of reason. That's fucked up. Cullen.
I was going to say that, I already do know, I don't want to drink anymore, and understand it. Long story short, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that shit anymore. All the times I've tried to quit, I was just doing it to please somebody. And I know how awesome it can be. I've had really good times not drinking. I understand that, and I want to short term. I guess I'll make this a two-part thing.
That's fine.
Short term, all I gotta do is there's this fucking demon that when I'm least expecting it, we talked about it, and it just pops up, and without even almost not even thinking, I'm like, oh, just do a shot, and then next thing you know, I'm right back to being I fucked up again. I just want to cut that fucking demon's wings off and get rid of that, and I know that's part of, that will happen with this process, but the main thing is, I want to set a good, for my family to be proud of me, to trust me, and set a good example for not only like my nephews and friends and just for everybody, anybody else that I know that maybe also has a drinking problem. I want to be someone that people come to when they're like finally like, hey man, I gotta stop drinking. Dude.
Yeah.
I want to be that
You
I
have
friends like that.
you have no idea. These people will come out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
Because
I want that.
they'll hear it will. I'll bet anything on it. You know what I mean? Like I said yesterday, like I had a friend from New York call me on a three-way from a guy in Chicago that I met once or twice. You know what I'm saying? Had a 35-minute conversation with him. Like, I mean, come on. That wasn't happening in my old life.
Yeah, and I have people that call me about legal stuff,
Mhm.
stuff like that, and I have respect for
Yeah.
people in a lot of different ways, but in this, I want that. I want when someone's in a shitty situation and they're getting their ass beat by whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever. I want them to be like, fucking Cullen hasn't drank in 5 years or whatever it is, and call me and be like, dude, can we meet up and talk? And that's just another thing I want.
Can I tell you why they will call you? Because this is a story, an analogy they'll say. There's a guy, walking down the street, there's a guy trapped in a hole, right? First the doctor comes by and tells him what to do and the guy can't get out. Then a priest comes by and tells him what to do and he can't get out. And then someone like you comes by and you jump in the hole with him and you say, don't worry, I know my way out. You know what I mean? Because, no, exactly, because people will know and see the change in you and they'll know this guy's got some helpful shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they will come to you. Chris. Chris, are you married with kids?
I'm married, I have kids, but not this way.
Okay.
I've come a long way, but I've done a lot of failing in between here and there. And I've got this thing where I'll do real good for a good while, and then I'll fucking relapse. And then I make a bunch of fucking promises. And I do real good for a little while. And then I fucking relapse again. And one time I was gone, man, and there was no bringing me back. But I'm not that same person anymore. And I've done a lot since then. I've gained a lot since then. I've got a lot of things now since then that I would have never thought. I had my own place, a couple of cars, thousands of dollars worth of tools, I got licenses, issued by the state of Texas, and I got a lot to lose, but I think more important than that is I not only got all that, but I've got things that I'm responsible for, people I'm responsible for, people I'm responsible to, and, you know, I've got credibility. I don't want to lose that credibility because I'm just one fucking hit away, you know, from losing it all. Where they say, you know what, I could get blackballed and I'd never get hired again, or have to be my own, go into business for myself, because no one else will hire me. And I'm really just a guy who, you know, partying was, you know, going to work was just so I could pay enough bills to have a place to stay and have a little party money on the weekend. Somehow or another, the job that I had, which was just a low-level, low-life job, turned into a career. But the partying I did turned in, you know, from it being a little bitty little thing, it turned into a full-fledged fucking monkey on my back. And I seemed to do good for a little while, like I said, but then I have these bouts of where I relapse. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm just fucking stupid thought, I could just do it for a minute, nobody would know. And then here you go, I'm off to the races, man. And I don't know how to get rid of that thought, but that's the same fucking thought that keeps occurring. It's the same, I don't understand it, and I'm here right now because I'm not giving up. I don't know what the fuck I gotta do, dude. I don't know. I don't fucking know. And I don't know that coming here is even gonna fucking help. I don't know that if I'm fucking wasting all of y'all's fucking time, am I wasting my fucking time? Is there something that you fucking do and all of a fucking sudden it's just fucking great?
This is the
Sorry.
thing. No, you're good. Listen to me. I hear the desperation in your voice. Here's the thing. Me and Brent and Cullen and Kyle and Jake, we've all done the same thing. That book was not written for people that got one DWI or fell on their face once. I mean, that book was written for people that fell on their face over and over and over again. When you read the stories, when you do the thing, people that said, I've tried everything and I keep doing the same thing that I keep doing. They're like, hey, just try this. What have you got to lose? And then they recover. When you leave here, make a plan. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to a meeting every day. I'm going to work the steps. I'm going to do this. And just set the goal for you. And I promise you, you will have that whole, like we read in that story yesterday. She goes, people told me that I would only not want to, people told me that I could stop drinking, but not only stop drinking, get to a point where I don't want to drink. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for you get to the point where you don't even want to drink. Like I tell you all the time, the spiritual awakening you're looking for is right now in your life. You couldn't picture your life without drugs or alcohol. You could picture it without it for a little bit, but eventually something brought you back there, right? That's what you just told me? You will get to a point where you can't picture it with it. You don't want nothing to do with it. You feel so good, you're doing so good, that the thought of even putting that in your body, you'll make you shiver. That can happen. You just got to be willing to do the work. Thank you.
Might start on your way there, but we didn't become fuck-ups overnight either.
Go ahead.
I just said what I said, and I also know that happiness is a side effect of doing the right thing, with the right people at the right time in the right place, and it's fleeting. So I'm not worried about being happy. That'll come later. But right now, I just want to get a life. And,
A lifestyle instead of a death style?
yeah, well, just anything, man. I have nothing, no friends, no family, no job, no nothing.
Yeah, I want friends again, that'd be nice.
Dude, I'm telling you right, hey, here's a guy that started going to meetings in Rosenberg, Texas, never went to meet friends. I'm not an antisocial guy, and I wasn't against it, but that's not why I went.
No, I'm an
And I've met some of,
asshole when I'm drunk.
I know, you told us before.
We
But,
believe you.
but yeah, but do you understand, like, no, the thing is, like, you will meet friends in AA. I mean, here's the thing, what is a friend? Somebody that you can have minimal, like have on the surface with conversations or have deep conversations with, right? You meet people in AA and you kind of like all of a sudden you guys are having these, you know each other's struggles and the pain and the this, and you share this common thread, right? Like anybody that knows, I mean, why do you think you come into a place like this and you get close so fast? You know what I mean? Because we suffer from the same shit. Well, it's just like, listen, being in here and going through this is just like being in the military with somebody or being in a fraternity or being in a gang or being in prison, right? Like, here's this common thing that brought us together. And then all of a sudden, and like I said, in a place like this, all of a sudden we're talking about these things that we don't normally talk about. And listen, here's the truth. When somebody is honest, vulnerable, and confident about it, it's the most attractive qualities a human being have. And if you see me be like that, why do you think when I get up here and do this, you guys feel comfortable sharing? Am I up here pretending like, I'm not up here posturing or pretending, like I'm as honest and transparent as I can possibly be. I don't ever, fake anything. You know what I mean? I'm not here to do that. Like, I know who's in here for the first time? I can remember so much what treatment was like the first time. And who's in here for the third, fourth, or fifth time? And I know what it's like that time. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like when I'm telling you, I can remember so much about the first time I was in treatment and the last time. I mean, I know what it's like to be sitting there. I know what it's like to just, I get it. I really do. I understand. You want a life.
Yeah.
AA can give you a life.
Let me redeem myself, right? From earlier. When I went to Walla Walla, went to the RRU, got into NA. Met a lot of people, been there 5 years. I know people have been 5 years sober. And one person, Jennifer Glenn, she was a really good role model. I helped her with the Doty Home for Veteran Women. I fucking helped her set it up, did her lawn maintenance, took care of everything. Everything was going great until my drink got out of control. Everybody had to cut me off because I was using. And I have no resentments whatsoever. And I'd like to redeem myself for that and actually get back involved in it.
And so basically what you're telling me is you had some sober time and you had a life.
Yeah, I had a lot of life.
That's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, good. If I told you, I don't think you guys understand how much I truly believe in all you guys. I mean,
Also,
yeah.
You're right. In order to get sober, what I've seen, what I heard, requires a complete lifestyle change and spiritual change.
And here's the thing though, you can't just decide to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to put one foot in front of the other and just do it, and then the process takes hold. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hard work. But I promise you, anything in here, anybody ever get anything that was really worth it that didn't take hard work?
No.
Or that you appreciated? Danita. Danita, you have grandchildren, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to, I want you to keep them in mind.
Okay, this is the first time that I really had the opportunity or even thought about getting off drugs.
Yeah.
Because like I say, I've been doing it since 2012 every day. So I'm excited because I remember the life that I had when I wasn't smoking crack and drinking. I was happy all the time. I went to marathon meetings, 24-hour meetings, and had my sponsor. I was just happy all the time.
Sounds terrible.
And anyway, oh boy, he pushed me to come. You know what I'm saying? Because I got, I'm a widow. And he ain't been dead that long. He's been dead since 18. but he pushed me to come. Had he wouldn't have pushed me to come, I don't think that I would be here.
Okay.
But, you know, so, but I do feel excited about waking up and not having to go to the crack home.
Never heard anybody call it a crack home.
No,
You
crack
make it
corner.
sound, you make it sound like, okay.
The crack corner. Because every day I get up, I'm like, well, I need to get my, my medicine, you know.
Yeah.
So, and, so like I said, and I just want to be like I was before 2012. You know, I went to meetings, I enjoyed it.
How long were you sober?
Well, from 99 to 2012.
Ooh.
And then 2012, I've been sober since.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking now, well, this is a chance for me to, you know, go ahead and try to see how, you know, if I can get some help because I know that I can be happy without the drug. So I just want to, you know, take a day at a time because it's really kind of freaking me out. I'm like, well, how am I gonna do this? I've been smoking since 2012, and how am I gonna, you know what I mean?
You're letting your brain convince you that you can't do it. You know it's possible. That's the whole thing. I shouldn't have to try to convince you it's possible. You know it is.
You're psyched out saying,
Yeah. Well, that's the mind trying to F you. You know what I mean? The mind will F you, and then you're effed, and then you're smoking crack. And here's the thing. If smoking crack was okay with you, you wouldn't have been here 3 times in the last few months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that's not the way. You know there's a better way. Jody,
Oh yeah, this will be my first time I'm learning a lot.
that's not what I asked. What do you want out of recovery?
Oh, what I want out of it, I want to listen to what my aunt and uncle told me. Stopped it a long time ago. They told me, get my butt back in the church, that I'm better than doing what I was doing. They had faith in me.
Yeah.
And I felt like to them, I threw it. But before I left, I did talk to them and they said, hey, you can do it.
Yeah.
You have faith. And when you come back, you will be going to church. You have to drive out there and drag it. Because I make all my communion, all that stuff. So
Okay.
that's what I'm looking for.
Mr. Sims.
Okay, I'm looking to get my whole life back. I've been doing this shit 36 years, off and on, and that's too many years gone. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I am, but I still have that habit.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
talks to me regularly.
Yeah.
But not today, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure once I hit the door, it's got to start back talking.
You couldn't be, you're speaking the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got back. But I'm getting ready for it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I get this done because I'm going to meet you. You have to
Do you want to be sober? I believe you. I do. Good. Well, like I said, we got to want to be sober. We got to chase that. We got to want to be sober like we would chase the crack or the heroin or the alcohol or whatever. And here's the thing. Recovery and the 12 steps of AA, it's the complete opposite of smoking crack or doing heroin or drinking, right? Because it's not instant, I'm using air quotes, gratification. It's not that. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. It's like going to the gym, right? Like nobody goes to the gym and gets healthy in one day. You go, you know what I mean? And eventually it pays off. And eventually people start noticing and they start, because when I tell you I think this is the only thing really worth talking about, like what else is there to talk about? Let's talk about being the best human beings that we could be. Being the healthiest human beings we could be with the best coping skills so that we could go out there and live life the way it should be lived, not the way that we were living it, because it wasn't lifestyle, it was death style. Constantly falling short, constantly hating ourselves, setting ourselves up for success, and then constantly pulling the house down right on us. Self-destructive in ways that just don't make any sense. You know what I mean? It just don't make any sense. So everything that everybody said here was really good. But every single person in here shortchanged themselves. You have no idea how free you can feel, how good you can feel, how much you can help other people. I promise you, when people that love you and people that know you and they look at you and like, you know they're proud of you and they tell you they're proud of you and you just feel good and people start trusting, when people come to you for help and they start trusting this stuff in you, it's a type of feeling that you cannot get from drugs or alcohol. You know? Knowing that you're not a slave to that shit. Waking up and having to go to the crack corner. Like, I don't care. That shit sucks. That shit sucks. It makes you feel weak. It makes you hate yourself. It makes you, hate life. It makes you, going through life, no matter, with the best intentions, butting heads and aggravating and frustrating everybody and that war that goes on inside our heads, it's like, it is just exhausting, it's miserable, it's terrible. Like every single person here has a chance to rewrite their narrative. Like I say it all the time, America loves the underdog story. We love to see people come up and get better and do better. And like I tell you all the time, you have two types of people in your world. People that are praying for your recovery and people that are praying for your downfall. To me, recovery is the only way. Because every person in here has to realize something. If you leave here and you use, you have to know you're going to be miserable because that's what brought you here to begin with, right? We were using and we were miserable, so we came for a change. So if you leave here and you use, you're going to be miserable. If you leave here and you don't use and you don't work a program and you don't do anything, you're going to be miserable until you use again. But if you leave here and you work a program and you work the steps and you go to meetings, you're going to be miserable for a little bit. And then you can be really happy. There should be no, you know what I mean? It should be no other option. What the hell? What do you got to do? Get up and go to some meetings every day? Get up and go to a meeting every day? Talk to your sponsor, work some steps, write some shit down on a piece of paper that you know you already did. Everybody gets so worried about this step 4 and this and that. I promise you it's not a big deal. I promise you the stuff that happens from every single thing that it's going to take to get you better, your brain's going to say, why do I got to do that? I don't feel like doing that. That's not going to help. It's like your brain will tell you it's not the way to go. You need to not listen to that brain. When you leave here, if you're listening to your brain, you're not going to make it. You cannot change the way you act unless you change the way you think. The only way you change the way you think is to act your way into right thinking, which means you need to take advice from people and you need to do things differently. You need to do things differently. All right, guys, we got a meeting in 10 minutes. Go smoke your cigarettes, talk bad about everybody, do what you got to do.